Hey guys, we're on the range today. I've got pretty much a standard issue AK-74. It's pretty much what a Soviet soldier would be issued. The only thing I did different to this one, I put a scope base on the front here on the gas system so I could put a strike fire vortex on it so I could do some accuracy testing. I just can't see metallic sights anymore, so this crutch really helps out with that. So it's an easy fix. I've got standard grade ammunition. This is made by Wolf. It's a 62 grain hollow point steel jacketed stuff. Pretty much what a Soviet soldier would have, except it's a hollow point. I'm just going to do some rapid fire stuff with it, do some 5-shot drills on some paper targets, give you an idea of what it would look like. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll start off on that target on the left. All right, low ready, 5 shots, target on the left. Ready? Okay. See what we got here. Oh, we're running about a 17-18 split, so we average about 17 hundredths of a second. Total time. Not on there. So we're running about 17 splits, so that's what we're looking for. We'll go ahead and shoot that target on the right. Same drill, 5 shots. That's about 17 hundredths. Let's do it again. Up. Got caught with safety on. Let's do it again. All right. All right. Safety first. So, okay, we're running about the same thing. Those are about 16s. The whole time when that was a 0.87 hundredths of a second. React to shoot 5 shots. Not too bad. What I was looking for is how the whole system feels in the hands. A lot of secondary bounce on the bolt. But all in all, at this distance, this is about 12-15 yards. Pretty easy to keep them in the center of mass. So we're going to go ahead and unload and go on to something else here. All right, we're empty. We'll just lay this here. That Soviet style safety gets a little bit of getting accustomed to getting used to. It takes about 3 hands to operate it. What I have now is the closest thing to a stock AR that I could come up with. I had to borrow this one. It's a 16-inch, got standard handguards. It's got a standard GI trigger in it. It has the same vortex strike fire optics on it. So what I'm going to do as a fair comparison to that AK platform is do a couple of 5-shot bursts on these paper targets at this 12-15 yards. So I'm going to go ahead and load it up. I've got some Wolf ammo again. It's a 62 grain hollow point, so the ammunition is similar to what our U.S. forces are issued with the 60 grain green tip. So pretty much a standard platform. So we're going to go ahead and do a couple of 5-shot drills. Shoot that target on the left 5 times from the low ready, and take a look at it. Here we go. All right, let's see what we did. Total time a 0.8. So we're running there about the same splits, guys. So let's do another target. You ready? Do it. Got it hung up in my ear muff a little bit. That was a 0.67. First shot went a little left. Not too bad. I'm losing my hearing protection here. Okay, about the same. Let's go take a look at the targets. I got hung up in my muff coming in on this second target, but anyway, we're pretty much in center of mass, so the AR, of course, at this distance, pretty proven product. What I noticed really quick on this platform, this GI trigger is probably the most horrendous trigger I think I've ever fired. So I'm really spoiled to a good match grade trigger on an AR, and this one does not have it. So it kind of shows on the targets here. These are the groups we shot with the AK-74. That long light trigger to me is almost really close to a double action revolver. The poundage on the trigger must be half of what this AR platform I have in my hand. So the groups actually reflect how easy it is to trigger. So there they are. Hey guys, I got an AK-74 here. I've got some Wolf 60 grain, 62 grain hollow points. I'm sighted in 100 yards. I'm gonna go ahead and shoot 2 5-shot groups to get an average of what we're gonna do here. So let's go ahead and fire this thing for accuracy on those 2 targets on the left. Do a couple of 5-shot groups and see what it looks like. Here we go. All right. See if I got enough ammo to do another one. I think we do. Let's shoot the target on the right. 5 shots. Here we go. All right, 10 shots on paper. Go ahead and clear it out. All right, we're clear. Take a quick look at them. Okay. Got an AR style rifle. This is the closest thing to a stock rifle I could come up with at the last minute. What I'm going to do is go ahead and shoot a couple of 5-shot groups. I've got some Wolf ammo also in 5.56 caliber, 62 grain hollow point. I'm trying to keep the ammunition the same quality so the group sizes wouldn't be, so there'd be a fair representation of what's going on here. So let's go ahead and pop a couple of rounds here with the 62 grain hollow points. All right, going hot. Targets on the right, 5 apiece. Going hot. All right, let's see what that one looks like. See if I'm on paper. All right, let's do one more. One more group, target on the right. All right, let's go ahead and clear it out. All right, clear on that one. Let's go take a look at the targets here and see what they look like. One of the things that was apparent right off the bat was on that AK-74 was how abrupt the action cycle time is. That cycle is so abrupt on that gun. They've got it overpowered so to work in so much adverse conditions that even with a compensator on it, there's a lot of secondary recoil from the bolt bottoming out on the back of the frame. It was pretty violent. It's a pretty violent gun. The brass was ejecting about 15, 20 feet. So that tells you right there the bolt cycle is very fast. It might help it function in adverse conditions. The downside of it is it sure throws the shooter off target in between shots. So let's take a look. We're shooting at 100 yards. I had a Vortex striker red dot on it. That was 5 shots on the first target. Second target, that long light trigger pull on that AR, I was coming back into the target zone on, I think, the third shot, and I prepped it a little too early, and I can't really feel when the sear releases, and I actually called this one to the left. So other than that, not really a bad group considering the quality of the ammunition and the sighting system that we have on it so high off the stock. It's really hard to keep a good cheek weld. So as you can see, it's not a bad group. I called that one. So this is a standard AR-15 carbine. This is Wolf 62 grain hollow point, and you can see we've got a group here about 2 inches, 2.5 inches for this one. So the representation here, about 2.5 inch group with that quality of ammunition. So you can see it's got nice little round clusters. One thing that was really apparent after firing that target stare with that AK style rifle was how easy this platform fired and how it stayed in line with the target in between shots. Even though it had a standard GI trigger in it, which was pretty creepy, I don't think that rifle has but maybe 10 rounds shot through it, so it's pretty much out of the box. Really poor quality trigger on that one, but the whole platform itself was easier to shoot, and you can see by the groups, it really doesn't take too much effort to make this thing shoot well. So this is a 100-yard comparison with about the same ammunition. Okay guys, we're going to talk about the nuts and bolts of these rifle systems. Both of them are an extremely proven system. But I'm just going to show you some of the features that you might want to look for when you consider one of these on the user aspect side of it. So what I've got here, I've got 4 different rifles. I have no ammunition present. You want to make sure when you do this kind of stuff that you have no ammunition on the table. We'll start off by checking the chamber here. On the AK-74, it's empty. One thing you want to be concerned about on a system like this, of course, is the safety mechanism. You notice on these style of rifles, the safety is a long lever. It also acts as a dust cover. It's pretty unique, but it also takes a lot of time to get to. If I'm holding it in a firing position to reach the safety, I have to break my grip really hard, get my finger up on the side of it and address the safety. Not really a convenient place to put a safety, but it does have 2 functions, so I have to give it a plus there. Another thing you might want to consider is the ease of a magazine change. This system has a little lever on the bottom to release it. The magazine actually toggles in, no ammunition. It actually toggles in, so you have to come into the mag well from the front and then lock it to the rear. And also to release the magazine, you can grab it with your weak hand here and toggle it out. It takes a little bit of time to do that. Well, I missed it that time. To release and insert a magazine. So that's one of the distractions from this whole firing system, is the magazine release. I really don't care for it much. I guess if I was to practice with it somewhat, I would become more proficient with it. But anyway, that's how the magazine inserts and release with this one tab here. So your safety is located here, your tab here for your magazine release. Has a large bolt handle. That's a plus. If you get in a bad situation, you got to kick start it. You can always put butt of the rifle down, get your boot heel on it and strike it, or you can strike it against a post or a corner of a building to clear a malfunction if you needed to. So this offers some benefit. The downside of this thing has to reciprocate. So if you get in a tight situation against the wall, you can impede the function of the firearm. So as good as it is for one function, it's just that negative on the other side. It's got pretty good sights on it. This one comes with a muzzle brake, and it's pretty effective. The actual design works pretty good, and it's good that it does work because this thing has a pretty violent action to it. I mean, without that muzzle brake, you'd have a lot more rise on the target just from the bolt bottoming out on the back of the receiver there, kicking it up a little bit. So another thing to look for is the line of the bore to the line of the stock. It has a little bit of drop on the stock. So that feature right there adds to some of the recoil problems with this system. This one has a stamped receiver. In the AK series, the milled receiver guns were noted to be the most accurate because they were the stiffer platform for the barrel to attach. So these were the mass-produced guns, the stamped receivers. What can you say? They've probably made a zillion of these things. I think something like 125 million or something. Anyway, a lot of them out there. So very proven system. Let's just grab an AR here and take a look at it. Another carbine. Make sure we empty. Okay. Talk a little bit about the features here. Of course, the safety is right up under the thumb. So when you want to address the safety, all you have to do is just move your thumb and it's off, it's on. So it's very fast to get to. Another thing that's really great about the AR platform, got an empty magazine, got an empty rifle here, is how fast you can load it and unload it. So just takes one hand to unload it. And you can be in process grabbing another magazine. So it's a very fast system to load and unload. So something to consider there also. So the safety is in a good spot. The magazine release is in a good spot. It's the straight line feed on the mag. So once you find the mag opening, all you have to do as a user is tap it home and you got it made. So pretty easy system to learn how to reload quickly, especially in bad lighting or in a hurry. So another big feature of this whole platform that I like, and is very apparent when you're shooting it, is the line of the bore is in the line of the stock straight to the shoulder. So the forces generated by the firearm go straight into your shoulder. It's a straight line recoil. You notice the AKs have a little bit of a drop on the stock, and that gives it a little bit of a pivot there to work against you. It's a little bit harder to hold it in the target zone. This particular rifle has the A2 Flash Suppressor. It's called a birdcage suppressor. The bottom of it is solid. You might notice right here there's not a ventilation cut or a cut at all on the bottom. The reason for this is twofold. One is to act as a muzzle brake to push the bottom of the barrel down as the gases come out behind the bullet. This acts as a platform for the gases to push on to keep the muzzle down. And another thing, when you're down prone in a dusty environment close to the ground or close to a wall or any kind of debris, it keeps those gases from kicking up all this trash right up into the shooter's face. So it's actually a twofold need there for that A2 Flash Suppressor. So pretty proven system, guys. This is a good one here. So let's go back to the AK there and do a little bit of a disassembly on it right quick. What an AK system is noted for is its reliability in a really harsh environment. Dust cover comes right off. Pull the spring mechanism. That comes right off. It's all contained. Bolt to the rear. It comes out. The op rod itself is affixed to the bolt mechanism. The bolt head comes out pretty easy. Pretty easy gun to take apart quickly. The gas tube itself here is affixed to the forearm. The way to do it on a standard gun is to pick the lever up here and then you pull the gas system off. This one is attached with a scope base. So I'm just going to bring it off of there right quick. You have to unscrew this one. This is an aftermarket gadget. One of the disadvantages of the AK system is where to mount an optic. This makes for a pretty convenient spot to put an optic. The downside of it would be when it comes time for maintenance, you have to do a little bit more work for a disassembly procedure. So let's just go ahead and break the screws out of this one. That sheet metal cover doesn't give you much of a mounting platform, if any at all, for an optic. So you have to kind of go forward if you want anything at all. So that's the gas system and everything contained in that sighting system. So it's a pretty good way to put an optic on it. Pretty basic. You notice here on the front of the gas tube, as soon as that op rod moves about ½ of an inch, these holes bleed the excess gases off. Starts to decelerate the bolt mechanism. These guns on average are gassed really hard, so they function well in a harsh environment. And what that does for the shooter, what it does to the shooter is, as this bolt reciprocates at such a high speed, it has a tendency to bump the gun when it comes to the rear. So you get a secondary recoil effect out of it. The upside of it is, if this thing is severely fouled, a lot of trash in it, a lot of debris, it's going to still at least work the bolt to the rear. So it's a hard gun to make not shoot if it's in any kind of condition at all. We'll go ahead and reattach this system real quick and start putting it back together for you. What's really neat about this whole system itself is the generous clearances that are inside the platform. You notice the bolt here, I'll put it back together without the bolt in it to put the carrier back in the system here. Oh, gotta have the bolt in. Try that again. What I'm trying to show you here, guys, is just how much space is available in this platform. I should have been born a Soviet. Okay, there we are. Go ahead and put this thing together right quick. It just has 2 locking lugs. And what that does for the user, it leaves a lot of room for debris, sand, dirt, whatever you have inside the system itself. It gives it a lot of place to go while the weapon is functioning. And that can be an added feature if it's severely fouled. So let me go ahead and get this thing back in the forward position here. Okay. Now to get an idea of just how loose this assembly is, a lot of play forward and aft. And that's a good deal if it's severely fouled. The bad thing about that, it doesn't give you the precise lockup of a match grade firearm. So it's built for function over accuracy. Spring assembly all contained. Go ahead and put it back in its track here. The other thing to look at on the inside of the receiver, you have dual coil spring mechanism. What basically that is 2 pieces of spring wire wound together to make one. The upside of that is, should one of them fail, one of them breaks, you still have the other piece of wire there to act as a spring. The other thing you see inside the trigger group here is the way their hammer and sear is. It's big pieces here. Your sear surface is huge. The hook engagement is huge, and it's very long. So the odds of you wearing this out or breaking it off in usage is pretty much nil. It's a very simple system, and that's one of the glory parts of it here. You've got about 1/8 of an inch clearance just about on everything in here on the bottom side of the receiver. So to try to get enough debris in here to not make it work is probably impossible. Go ahead and attach the spring, put the dust cover back on, and look at the AR right quick. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. We'll take the AR platform here, make sure we empty again. Go ahead and open it up. Good. Go and push the pin out on this one. This one, the receiver pin comes all the way out. Okay, pull the bolt out. Of course, you notice the bolt head is quite different from the AR. 7 locking lugs. What's different here on the bolt assembly is the actual rotation of the bolt a lot less. When you have multiple lugs, you don't need to turn as far to get full engagements and disengagement. The bolt is pretty simple in itself. The recoil buffer assembly is in a stock, the buffer tube and the buffer spring. It opens up relatively quick if you want to do maintenance. Of course, that's one of the virtues of the whole system. The original trigger mechanism is pretty robust in itself, easy to work on, easy to get to. As you can see, it pivots open really quick. So the big feature here, guys, is that the straight line recoil from barrel to stock is a big asset. Another feature of the AR that makes it a good platform, the sight base is available for optics or whatever you want to put on this platform is very much apparent. You can put them on the receiver, You can replace the handguard. You can have extended Picatinny rails. There's pretty much an endless variety of sighting combinations that you can attach. Also, the barrel mechanism on this particular firearm is easily changed. There's a barrel nut here instead of rivets. You can change barrel assemblies relatively quick. It takes an armorer just a little bit of time to go ahead and do a complete rebuild on it. So the chassis itself is very easily adapted to different platforms. You can have another upper with just whatever you want on it, optic-wise or metallic sights or whatever barrel you want. Knock these two pins out, put the lower on it, and you can swap the upper to a lower just that quick. So it's very flexible in what you can do with it other than a standard platform. Another outstanding feature of this platform that makes it a more consistently accurate platform is that nothing touches the barrel. If you had a free-floating handguard on this particular model right here, the only thing touching the barrel to the receiver would be the barrel nut. So, and on the AK, of course, you've got the complete gas system that rides atop the barrel. All of this causes vibration, heat distortion when the weapons get hot. So this one with the free floating barrel mechanism here makes it more accurate in extreme environments with different temperature changes and just sighting options. So it's a vastly superior design in that aspect. We're going to go ahead and pull them down right quick and give you an idea what the bolts look like a little closer, compare them one to the other.